Senator Kovacic and then Senator Mulholland, and then we'll come back to you, Senator Pocock. Senator Kovacic.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to go back to a comment made by Mr Manning at the very end of the questioning from Senator Mackenzie. Mr Manning, you made a comment about there being a small amount budgeted for the security of the CFMEU administrator based on threats. Are you able to give me some insight into what kind of threats were made?
No, yeah, and I took on notice to confirm the amount. My recollection is that when the administration was established, that there was credible threats. We don't possess those threats because I think they were shared from a law enforcement body that went to the safety of the administrator. That's all I know.
Okay. And Senator, you may have seen there has been quite a bit of media reporting about threats made to the administrator in the time that he's been in the role.
I have, thank you, Minister. I was curious if the department had any insight into the nature of those threats.
Yeah. Senator, I think we shouldn't talk to that. I mean, it's suffice to say that it was serious and warranted an appropriate response, hence the funding, the resourcing.
Do we know roughly how many?
Verified them with the AFP, but it was not appropriate for the AFP to share details with us for, I understand, operational reasons, Senator.
That makes sense. And do we know how many, just numbers, and is it still continuing or have they stopped?
We don't have that information. The law enforcement agencies don't share that with us. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you answering that. I go back to another question from Senator Mackenzie. She asked whether the minister had met with the CFMEU administrator. Are you able to tell me whether the Prime Minister has met with the CFMEU administrator?
I'm happy to take that on notice. So I do have a small update. I've checked. So the Minister Rishworth has spoken with the administrator in the time that she's been in the role, and she stressed the importance of eradicating corruption from the construction industry.
Thank you. If you could provide on notice if the Prime Minister has met with the administrator and how many times, I'd much appreciated. Thank you.
Well, it's not. I think really that's probably a question that needs.
It might be something you put on notice to finance estimates.
Yeah.
The Finance Committee, Senator.
Because questions about what the Prime Minister has done or not, but you can do that.
Yeah, I
afterwards.
thought maybe in relation to the fact that the department has oversight of the CFMEU administration.
Do we accept that? Do we have oversight of the CFMEU administration?
You do have some.
They're a registered organisation under administration. So
I just think it's important to understand different people's roles in this.
Absolutely.
So, for example, the Fair Work Commission General Managers, as the registered organisations regulator, has a role under the legislation, for example.
Yeah.
The department doesn't have any role under the legislation that establishes it.
Thank you very much. Just on to a different line of questions. Has the Minister met with Zach Smith, the head of the VicTAS CFMEU, since May 2025? And if so, how many times?
I'll take that on notice.
Thank you. Is the department aware if Zach Smith met or had contact with John Setka personally this year or any other members of the ousted leadership of the CFMEU? And if so, what the purpose of that contact was?
Senator, I don't believe we have any particular insight into that, and there's no information, any of us, I'm looking at the heads on the table shaking heads, and no specific information that we're aware of in relation to that.
Okay, thank you. Is it correct that Zach Smith is a member of the National Construction Industry Forum, the NCIF?
That's correct, Senator.
Are you able to tell me how many meetings he has attended?
Take it on notice, I think, Senator.
And he's still a member of that forum?
Yes, Senator.
And you're able to provide me how many meetings he's attended perhaps today?
Yes, we can attempt to do that today.
Thank you. Did Minister Rishworth attend any of the meetings at which Mr Smith was in attendance, if you could provide that as well? Unless you know the answer.
Notice to confirm, but at least one NCIF meeting, there was the Minister was in attendance and Jack Smith was in attendance.
Okay, thank you. And if you could give me the date of that meeting as well on notice, that would be great. Did the department have any concerns or express any concerns that Mr Smith met with the Minister effectively in this forum when there are reports that he arranged CFMEU meetings with organised crime figures?
So I think it's important to clarify that the NCI forum is quite a large meeting. So there are, under the Fair Work Act, there's equal number of members appointed representing employees and representing employers. So they're...
How large? How many numbers?
The general meeting. Might get Ms Platts to come to the table and give us that information.
20
Okay, 20.
members.
Yeah, plus a
It's not that big. Yeah.
group of officials.
It's a relatively large room and a quite large table.
And
Senator.
wasn't at the last meeting. So the most recent meeting was in September the 22nd.
of September.
So that predates the recent media that I think you're referring to, Senator.
So just to be clear, what I understand, what my question was leading to is, do you feel that that was appropriate or that was okay, or did you express any concerns around that meeting? So you're saying they didn't actually meet because it was a big group of people, there were 20 people there, but they were in the same meeting.
Sorry, Senator, I need to clarify that meeting of the 22nd of September we referred to, Mr Smith wasn't there.
And why wasn't he there?
It was an apology for some reason. And we've taken on notice to confirm the date of the...
So, Senator, I could probably answer that now.
We've got it.
The 27th of June.
27th of June. Okay, thank you. Okay. Because what I'm trying to understand, and this is just so you have an insight into the purpose of my questions, is I'm trying to understand why they have effectively been in the same meeting together, given the concerns, but also isn't the Minister meant to have like an arm's length sort of arrangement with the CFMEU whilst they're under administration, or do I have that wrong?
Well, there's two parts of it. I think firstly in relation to the national...
I don't have that wrong, do I? It is meant to be arm's length, right?
Well, the CFMEU is a registered organisation.
Yeah, but they're under administration.
That is under administration, and Mr Smith is an employee of that registered organisation, I think the Executive Officer of the Victorian and Tasmanian branch, appointed by the Administrator. So in relation to the NCIF, it's a forum at which industry participants and so employer reps, employee reps and government come together to discuss how to improve a range of features of the construction industry, productivity, culture, etc. It's not a forum at which there's discussions around the sort of details of any of the organisations, for example, and who they're meeting, etc. So it's not the type of forum you'd sort of expect those discussions to occur at. It's about the industry and involving industry participants. And as I say, Mr Smith is there as a...
I get that. We could all be involved in forums where there are different participants, but if there are perhaps some problems or some conflicts, we might go, oh, that might not actually be
Senator,
a really good idea.
I think we need to be clear here. This is a forum established under legislation and she chairs it.
Sorry, Ms James, will allow Senator Kovacic to finish placing her question.
So she's the chair of the forum.
Senator Kovacic, if you finish placing your question, then I'll come to Ms James.
Look, I apologise, Senator. It's just the reason she's in the room is because she chairs the forum.
Senator Kovacic has the call to finish placing her question, and then we'll come to officials for the answer. Senator Kovacic.
Thank you. I'd appreciate the respect to be able to ask the questions that I wish to ask. I don't think that's unfair.
I think Ms James was just trying to provide some context.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What I want to understand is whether there's any concern in relation to the fact that these meetings took place. And I understand we have the Minister as the chair of the body and we have the people who are participants of a particular body who are talking about things that are industry related, but I want to understand whether the department was concerned or perhaps gave any advice or said, that there might be a problem here given this organisation is under administration. There are additional problems with this individual and granted this individual later apologised for, making an organiser go meet with an organised crime figure. Did you at any point flag or think it was necessary to flag that this may be a problem?
Senator, can I just say a couple of things and then hand over to Mr Manning? As you've heard, Minister Rishworth is the chair of this forum in the same way I was before that and Minister Burke was before that. The forum is a tripartite forum because, as you know, that's the way our government likes to operate. The CFMEU has significant membership of workers in that industry, along with the other unions that are represented there, the ETU, the AWU, AMWU. So it's entirely appropriate that those workers in that industry are represented by their union. I think the evidence that we've heard from the officials is that the most recent meeting of the forum was in September, which was prior to the most recent reporting about Mr Smith, and Mr Smith didn't attend that meeting anyway. And then the meeting before that was in June, where Minister Rishworth attended. So, to the extent you're suggesting that Minister Rishworth should have considered or been advised about the recent reports about Mr Smith, they happened after the most recent meeting.
Okay,
yeah.
That's great clarification. So will Mr Smith be invited to attend the next meeting?
I'm not sure whether that decision's been made yet, but
does the minister have a say as to who gets invited?
I think what I'd say more broadly is that, and the officials can correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr Smith has at times attended that meeting as a representative of the CFMEU. It's a matter for the CFMEU to determine who represents their members at that meeting, just as it's a matter for the administrator to take whatever action he thinks is appropriate in relation to the recent reporting about Mr Smith. I think it's been reported that the administrator had significant concerns about Mr Smith's actions and I believe has issued a warning of some kind and has begun work to prepare a new policy.
I read about that.
Yeah. So the point being that it would appear to me
that there was required a policy in relation to meeting organised crime figures, but
well, I mean, as I say, I mean, it's one of many new policies the administrator has brought in an attempt to change the culture of that organisation. But as I said before, it would be really helpful if some business figures stopped engaging with and paying organised crime figures as well. That would be a really, really good development in the construction sector. Sorry, Mr Manning.
Oh, no, I was just going to add that the media reporting about that meeting I saw said that the administrator was looking into the circumstances around the meeting, and as part of that work the minister outlined, and I think that once that's finished, that would be something to be taken into account. And
sorry, just to clarify what I said, Mr Manning's right. I understand the administrator is undertaking an investigation. I think I said that he'd issued a warning. I was confusing that with an investigation. It's obviously a matter for the administrator what action he takes.
Thank you. And just, and this is a question to the department, will Mr Smith be invited to the next meeting of the NCIF?
Well, he remains a member of the NCIF, so I think it's too early to say, because I think that work that we've just been speaking about that the administrator's undergoing, if it has any impact on Mr Smith's employment with the union, then that's obviously something to be relevant to his attendance, given he attends in a representational role.
Yeah. So I asked, the Minister answered this, but I'm curious as to your answer. Does the Minister get a say as who's invited to the NCIF?
Members are appointed, and then the minister can invite others on a case-by-case basis. For example, we've had people with particular expertise who've come along to the meeting to brief it on matters.
So my understanding is that the minister may terminate members of the forum for misbehaviour. Is that correct? And would you deem, or would the department deem, that organising meetings with organised crime figures constitutes a misconduct?
Senator, Section 789 GZQ of the Fair Work Act sets out the grounds for termination for members of the NCIF. Misbehaviour has a particular meaning at law. I'm happy to take that on notice for you.
Thank you. And then can I ask, connected to that then, has the department or the minister made any moves to remove Mr Smith from the NCIF?
I'll go back to my earlier evidence, Senator, that we understand the administrator is looking into it more fulsomely.
I understand, but has the...
Well, what I'm getting to, sorry, Senator, is that I think once that work runs its course, the department would be in a position to give advice to the minister. But as effectively Mr Smith's employer, that's something they're doing at the moment. And so to date, the department hasn't. But I think we'll wait to see the full circumstances in which of what happened.
So I've got this right, and I'm not an expert on how the NCIF is constituted, so you may have to bear with me. So as long as he is an employee of the CFMEU, and as long as he is their delegated representative on the NCIF, he will remain on the NCIF?
It's a little separate. He's appointed in a personal capacity, in the sense that the minister can appoint. He's appointed. The minister appoints an equal number of people who represent employees and employers. So
he's personally appointed. He's not appointed. He's not a delegate of the.
He's appointed because of his role in the CFMEU. Is the point I'm getting to?
But it's not a CFMEU spot. It's a spot for Mr. Zack Smith.
Representing the CFMEU.
Yes, who's appointed because he represents employees in the construction industry.
And so the administrator will decide maybe... So if the administrator came and said, we don't think that he should be representing us on this, is that enough for him to be removed, or does the minister have to remove him? I just want to understand. I don't understand.
At that stage, there may be a number of different pathways, Senator. So if his employer asked him to resign, that may be something they can legitimately do, and he may be able to resign.
And if he says no, he doesn't have
on the NCIF, then you'd be looking at the grounds of termination that are set out in the Fair Work Act.
So he doesn't have to?
If his employer gave him a lawful and reasonable direction, that might be a pathway, Senator. But I think we're very much running ahead of the evidence here while the investigation is still underway.
I just
All of
want to
this
understand
is
the process, what would happen and what could happen next. Yeah. And potentially why an individual who's demonstrated this conduct is still representing an organisation that's under administration on a national body, effectively. Okay.
We're due to rotate, so at this point I'll pass the call to Senator Mulholland. Thank you.
Thank you.